Okay, so this is the fifth video. I'm going to review part three, okay, of the essay. So for this section of the essay, what you're going to do is this. You will use Richard and Paul and Linda Elder to complete this section. You are to write 5 paragraphs based on the criteria for identifying the type of thinking. This section of the essay relates to phase 3 of the module, right? Which is, go back, this right here. All right, where I ask you to use the miniature guide to critical thinking, but more specifically the 3 types of characters, or yeah, the 3 types. Sorry, let me get the book. I miswrote it. Sorry, yeah, sorry, the 3 types of characters. I don't know why it looks strange. Sorry about that. Okay, so this is what you're doing in part three. Okay, so now let me go back to the handout. Okay, so this section of the essay relates to phase 3 of the module. For this section, you will evaluate the writer's approach to the essay. To accomplish this essay, focus on Paul Elder's text on the 3 types of character on page 13. This section will be comprised of 5 paragraphs, and I'm going to show you in a moment. You must write a paragraph for each point Paul and Elder provide for each character type. The 3 character types, according to Paul and Elder, are um, sorry about here you go. Okay. The uncritical person, the self-serving critical person, and the fair-minded critical person. Okay. Each heading has a specific descriptor characterizing each critical thinking category. For each point Paul and Elder provide, you are to use those descriptions to write each subsequent paragraph. For instance, the opening paragraph would be how you classify the writer's thinking in their essay, and you could either identify the whole paper, okay, the whole paper as either uncritical person, self-serving critical person, and the fair-minded critical person. Right. And then the second paragraph, you would entail the terms following the major label. Like for number one, unconcerned with the development of intellectual abilities. For uncritical, develops intellectual abilities to serve oneself selfish interests, or develops intellectual abilities to serve one's interests while respecting the rights and needs of others. All right. So like these are some characteristics for these two, right? So this is number one, this is number two, and this is number three. And you will use evidence to support your points made in this section, meaning you're going to take examples from the essay I assigned to you to demonstrate the point that you are saying. So this is what I mean by this, okay? Because I took a picture of that section of the book. Okay, so this is it. Okay, so this is page 13, and you notice that I wrote on my copy, right? So this is sort of looking at behavior, approaches, and so on and so forth. Okay, but anyway, so here are the 3 categories: the uncritical person, the self-serving critical person, and the fair-minded critical person. So then the first paragraph you're going to write is classifying the essay I assigned to you under one of these 3 categories. That's the first paragraph. Remember, 4 sentences. Sorry, 4 sentences. The second sentence, you're going to use these terms or descriptors for each category of type of thinking that Paul and Elder identified. For an uncritical person, that would be unconcerned with the development of intellectual abilities. So if you notice this in the essay, you must be clear and concise as to why you're using this classification versus this and this, but also using these descriptors, right? And you have to show that this actually exists in the paper that you are evaluating. And you would do the same thing if you identified the writer's essay as and the writer, sorry, the self-serving critical person, and see develops intellectual abilities to serve one's selfish interests without regard to the rights and needs of others, right? So then if you identify this type, right, or this characteristics based on this category, then you need to show the evidence as to why this is a good indication to your essay that you select that I assign to you. The same thing for fair-minded critical person. It develops intellectual abilities to serve one's interests while respecting the rights of others and needs and right the rights and needs of others. So if you notice this type of writing in the essay, then you would provide examples of how this can be identified in the essay. And you're going to do this. So this is paragraph one, paragraph two, paragraph three, paragraph four, and paragraph five. All right, sorry, let me move this out of the way. Paragraph five. All right, so you have one, two, three, four, five paragraphs for this section. And remember, the paragraphs are four, minimum of four. All right, so then you're going to be able to concisely and precisely describe and represent what you're trying to say. Okay, in this particular section. All right, so hopefully this makes sense. Okay, so let me go back to the handout and make sure I'm covering everything. Yeah. This is what you're going to be doing for this section. Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop here. Then I'm going to go to part five.